All right, let's talk about one of the most famous firearms in movie history, the massive revolver Clint Eastwood turned into a legend as Inspector Harry Callahan. This is one of those great stories.
This is a .44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world.
With that one line, a star was born. And you know, I'm not just talking about Clint Eastwood. That gun, the Smith & Wesson Model 29 revolver, became an instant icon, a symbol of absolute unstoppable power. That single piece of dialogue pretty much cemented its place in pop culture forever.
But here's the twist, and this is what makes the story so incredible. The most powerful handgun.
The director, Don Siegel, needed a prop, a gun that just screamed, "This cop is different." The Model 29 was perfect, but it was so rare, always pushing the limits of handgun power. His work eventually led to Remington and Smith & Wesson teaming up to create the .44 Magnum cartridge in '55. The revolver they built for it was officially named the Model 29 2 years later. But for the next decade, it just sat on shelves. Nobody was buying it.
And this right here, this tells you exactly why. Just look at the comparison to a standard police revolver from back then. The Model 29 wasn't just in a different league. It was playing a different sport entirely. It was way heavier, had 3 to 5 times the muzzle energy, and the recoil was just brutal. It was never meant for cops or self-defense. It was a super specialized tool for hunting huge animals like elk or bear.
That sold for about $194 was suddenly going for 3 times that, and that's if you could even find one. The demand was just off the charts. It was like every gun buyer in America woke up one day and decided they needed the gun Harry Callahan carried. Dealers were completely swamped. People were putting their names on waiting lists that were literally years long, all for a gun that, not long before, nobody even wanted.
And this, well, this is where the cinematic dream comes crashing into a very, very harsh reality. As thousands of these new owners finally got their hands on a Model 29, they quickly discovered the truth about their movie-inspired purchase.
This quote just nails it. For the average person who just wanted to feel like Dirty Harry at the range, that first trigger pull was a real shock to the system. This wasn't the cool, controllable power they saw on the silver screen.
Think about it. On screen, you see Clint Eastwood, one hand, totally in control. But in the real world, a full-power .44 Magnum round creates this violent, twisting recoil that just rips the muzzle toward the sky. And those beautiful checkered wood grips, they look great, but they dig into your palm and leave your hand aching after just a handful of shots. So, how did they make it look so easy in the movie? Simple. It's all movie magic. For most of the shots, they just used blanks. You get the big flash, but zero recoil. When they needed to show a little bit of a kick, they used much weaker .44 special ammo. And that classic scene where the bad guys go flying backward, yeah, that's pure stunt work. No handgun on Earth can do that. It completely defies the laws of physics. So, when you boil it all down, you're left with 2 completely different identities for the very same gun, the on-screen legend and the real-world specialized tool. And let's be really clear, the Model 29 is not a bad gun. Far from it. It's an excellent gun for its intended purpose. It was designed from the ground up to be a hunting tool, to give you rifle-level power in a package you could carry on your hip. For that very specific job, it's a masterpiece. It just was never ever meant for shootouts in San Francisco. The legend of Dirty Harry's gun was built on what we like to call Hollywood physics. It was super entertaining, sure, but it set expectations that reality could never live up to. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum. You have films like Michael Mann's Heat, which are famous for their almost obsessive focus on getting things right, from the realistic sound design to the perfect practiced reloads and team movements. If you have a sharp eye for the moments when a production achieves tactical brilliance, or conversely, when it relies on pure Hollywood physics to tell a story, then this is the community for you. Hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss a breakdown. And that brings us to our final question for you. Have you ever bought a piece of gear, could be anything, solely because of a movie character, only to realize that in real life it was a painful and disappointing mistake?